Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you question human nature. Story 1. My coworker made me pay $500 for this tiny scratch. So my coworker just made me pay $500 for what I'd call the world's tiniest car scratch. Here's what went down. I was getting into her car after work, and before I even opened the door, I actually checked super carefully to make sure it wouldn't scrape against the curb we were parked next to. It looked totally fine. She didn't say anything either, didn't warn me to be careful or mention there was any risk. So everyone gets in the car, and when I close my door, the bottom edge just barely catches the curb. We're talking the slightest scrape here. She immediately jumps out and closes the door herself, then starts inspecting it like a detective at a crime scene. Now here's the thing, I couldn't even see any damage at first. We had to get down on our hands and knees with phone flashlights to find this so-called scratch. When we finally found it, it was literally just some white marks from the concrete that you could probably buff out with your fingernail. But she starts freaking out, saying her car is ruined and demanding I pay for it. I felt terrible, so I agreed to cover whatever it cost to fix. Big mistake. She takes it to 3 different places and gets quotes ranging from $200 to $800. I'm thinking we'll go with the reasonable option, right? Wrong. She picks the most expensive place without even telling me and schedules the repair. When she hands me the bill, it's $530. For context, her car isn't even new. It's got other scratches and dings all over it. This one tiny mark that you literally need a flashlight to see cost me more than my monthly car payment. But here's what really gets me, she acted like I'd totaled her car. She was cold to me for weeks, made comments about how I'm careless, and even told other coworkers about it. I paid the money because I felt guilty and wanted to keep the peace, but honestly, I'm still annoyed about the whole thing. It feels like she totally took advantage of my guilt and turned this microscopic scratch into a major payday. The worst part is, after I paid, she didn't even seem grateful. She acted like I'd just done the bare minimum to fix my terrible mistake. Now every time I see her perfectly repaired car, I think about how I basically funded her car maintenance over something so minor that insurance probably wouldn't have even covered it. I keep wondering if she saw an opportunity and ran with it, or if I'm just being bitter because $500 is a lot of money to me. Am I wrong to still be frustrated about this whole situation? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. I have cancer and just had a baby, but my husband won't clean. So I'm 3 weeks postpartum, battling cancer, and my husband thinks I should still be doing housework. Yeah, you heard that right. Let me paint you the full picture here. I just had a C-section 3 weeks ago, and while I was pregnant, doctors discovered I have cervical cancer. So now I'm doing chemo while recovering from major surgery and taking care of a newborn. Oh, and I also have an 18-month-old toddler running around. My husband isn't working right now because we moved 2,000 miles away to find affordable housing. I've been off work since pregnancy because my doctors literally ordered me to stop. You'd think this would be the perfect setup for him to step up, right? Wrong. I'm constantly exhausted and sick from the chemo, but I'm still the primary parent. I do everything for the newborn, all the night feedings, diaper changes, the works. I take care of our toddler too. And somehow, I'm also expected to keep the house clean. When I try to do anything around the house, I can barely manage. I'll do a load of laundry and be wiped out for hours. But my husband acts like I'm being lazy. He'll make comments about how messy the house is, or sigh dramatically when he has to step over toys. The other day, I was sitting on the couch trying to rest after a particularly rough chemo session, and he walked through the living room picking up things with this martyred expression. When I asked what was wrong, he said he shouldn't have to live in a pigsty. A pigsty. I wanted to scream. I'm literally fighting for my life while keeping 2 tiny humans alive, and he's worried about some toys on the floor. The worst part is when people come over, he puts on this caring husband act. He'll bring me water and ask how I'm feeling, but the second we're alone, he's back to making me feel guilty about the state of the house. I've tried explaining that I'm doing everything I can, that my body is fighting cancer while recovering from surgery, but he just doesn't seem to get it. He acts like I'm making excuses. Yesterday he suggested we hire a cleaning service, which would actually be amazing, but then he complained about the cost. I pointed out that it would be temporary, just until I'm recovered and done with treatment, but he acted like I was asking him to buy me a yacht. I'm starting to wonder if I'm expecting too much. Maybe other women in my situation are able to keep their houses spotless while juggling everything else. But honestly, some days I can barely get dressed, let alone scrub bathrooms. Am I being unreasonable, or should my husband be stepping up more during what's literally the hardest time of my life? Story 3. My friend rejected our photographer, now she wants to use mine. So my best friend just tried to hijack my graduation photographer after spending months telling me it was a waste of money. This is peak entitlement, and I honestly can't believe it happened. I just finished my PhD in the US, and being an international student, my family couldn't afford to fly in for graduation. So I was going to be completely alone for one of the biggest days of my life. Months ago, I asked my best friend and roommate Elena, who was also graduating, if she wanted to split the cost of a photographer. Makes sense, right? We could both get professional photos, split the bill, everyone wins. But Elena shut it down immediately, saying it was a total waste of money. Fine, I thought, I'll just ask if her family could take a few quick pictures of me on their phones when they're there for her ceremony. Nope. She said they'd be too busy focusing on her to help me out. So I'm thinking, okay, I guess I'm doing this solo. But then something amazing happened. A representative from my country's consulate showed up at graduation to congratulate me personally. It was this incredible, unexpected honor, and my photographer captured the whole moment beautifully. The photos were absolutely stunning, and when I posted them online, everyone was blown away. Suddenly, Elena's tune completely changed. She started gushing about how gorgeous the photos were and asking about my photographer. Then came the kicker. She asked me to give her his contact information because she wanted to book him for some post-graduation photos with her family. I was honestly stunned. This is the same person who told me professional photos were pointless, who couldn't even be bothered to have her family snap a quick iPhone pic of me. Now she wants to use the photographer she refused to split with me. I told her no. I explained that it felt wrong after she dismissed the whole idea when I wanted to share the cost, and especially after she wouldn't even let her family take casual photos of me. She completely flipped out, saying I was being petty and vindictive. She claimed that was months ago and I should be over it by now. But here's the thing, it wasn't just about the money. It was about being there for each other during a major milestone. I was facing graduation completely alone, and she couldn't even manage the smallest gesture of support. Now that she's seen how amazing the photos turned out, she wants in on what she previously mocked. Her family's even getting involved, saying I'm being unreasonable and that friends should help each other. But I keep thinking, where was this friendship energy when I needed help? It feels like she only values things when she sees the final result, not when she could have been part of the process. Am I being too harsh, or is this exactly the kind of fair-weather friendship behavior that deserves to be called out? Story 4. I snitched on my coworkers and don't feel bad about it. So I just got my entire restaurant staff in trouble with management, and honestly, I'm not even sorry about it. Here's the whole messy situation. I started working at this restaurant that has a pretty specific dress code. We're supposed to wear these particular shorts and shirts, and I'll be honest, the shorts feel way too short for my comfort and the shirt is super itchy. But rules are rules, right? So for the first couple weeks, I wore the full uniform religiously, even though I felt uncomfortable the entire time. But then I started noticing something weird. I was literally the only person wearing the actual uniform most of the time. Everyone else was just wearing whatever they wanted, completely ignoring the dress code. So I figured, if nobody else is following the rules, why should I be the only one suffering in these uncomfortable clothes? I started getting more relaxed with it until eventually I just stopped wearing the uniform altogether. Well, wouldn't you know it, my manager pulled me aside pretty quickly and grilled me about not wearing the proper uniform. Instead of making excuses, I decided to be completely honest. I told him I'd noticed that I was the only one actually following the dress code, and it didn't seem fair that I was the only one being held to these standards. My manager seemed really surprised by this information. Apparently, he genuinely hadn't noticed that everyone else was also violating the dress code. The next day, boom. There's a staff meeting about uniform violations, and suddenly everyone's getting written up for dress code infractions. My coworkers figured out pretty quickly that I was the one who brought it to management's attention, and now they're all furious with me. They're calling me a snitch and saying I should have just talked to them directly instead of going to the boss. But here's my perspective on this: I tried following the rules while everyone else got to be comfortable. When I finally joined them in ignoring the dress code, I'm the one who got in trouble first. It's not my fault they were breaking policy, and it's definitely not my responsibility to cover for them or give them a heads up that consequences might be coming. Some of them are acting like I orchestrated this whole thing to get them in trouble, but that's not what happened at all. I just answered honestly when my manager asked why I wasn't wearing my uniform. Was I supposed to lie and protect people who were doing the exact same thing I was getting in trouble for? They had months to follow the rules or talk to management themselves about changing the policy if they had issues with it. Instead, they just ignored it and hoped nobody would notice. Now they're facing the same consequences I was facing, and suddenly that's my fault. The way I see it, we're all adults working at the same job under the same rules. Nobody forced them to break the dress code, and nobody forced me to tell the truth when I got called out. Am I really the villain here, or are they just mad they got caught? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.